Hello everybody, welcome back to Sprueverse, my scale model universe. People of Earth, welcome to a brand new build. On the bench today, the 1/24th scale Chariot from Moebius. And we're back in the world of Lost in Space, and boy am I excited. This has been an absolute dream of mine, is to chip away at the world of Irwin Allen through the models that are available out there. And we've really only focused on models that were available in sprue form, in kit form from the various manufacturers. We haven't dived into STL files yet, but maybe we will, And the 1/24th scale Chariot, it's a nice scale, and I know you've got it in your stash, and you know you do. You know who you are. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to go get it, pull it out, dust it off, and you're going to build it with me, because that's what we're doing. We're building the Chariot, and this is a great opportunity for you to get excited about doing something you know you've wanted to do for a long time. Now, interestingly enough, Moebius has this larger scale, but there's also a smaller scale, a 1/35 scale, available from Doll and Hobby, and you can pull that from Cult TV Man, and I'll leave a link to Steve's Cult TV Man site where you can get all your sci-fi kits and models and aftermarket parts, including your photo etch, which we're going to need for this, as well as your Aztec dummy masks. And it'll all be available from Cult TV Man. So nay, don't you worry. You do not have to worry. Everything is there for you. As well as, if you want to follow my exploits into the world of lighting this awesome Chariot, you can pick up a computer board from Ralph over at Tenor Controls, and I'll leave a link for him in the description below as well. So you're completely sorted. Here is the version, by the way, from my good friend Steve over at Cult TV Man. Here it is. It's a wonderful kit. So if you've got shelf space issues, or you just want to go for something a little smaller, go ahead and pick yourself up a 1/35 scale. It's beautifully detailed. It also has some added features to it too, like it has some figures, some sit-down figures that you can actually put inside your Chariot. We don't have that with the Moebius kit. They never did that. But we are in search of some aftermarket figures to put in the seats, because I feel like it's a little empty without them. Okay, so let's dive in. First thing I want to take care of is, before I get into the fact that we've got some things we have to talk about. But I want to just show you this little board from Ralph. We'll get into it later when we get to lighting, but I just wanted to show you because it's on the bench, and I've light-tighted it up for you. It's a board. Now this is his, he calls it his control consoles or computer panels light board. Here it is. You reach out to Ralph and you say, Ralph, I need a timer 8-A control board, because Phil says you got him. And he does, and he'll hook you up. And it's all hooked up. You can put your resisted, you've got to put your resisted LEDs on here. I've not tried it non-resisted, but I put it resisted on and it works like a charm. So I just want to cover my bases and say, worst case scenario, you resist your LEDs. Best case scenario, you don't have to, but please check with Ralph. Do not listen to me. Okay. So here it is, and it's fun. You know, it's just what it does is, and now his instructions tells you to go get 2 greens, 2 yellows, and 4 reds. But trust me when I tell you, people of Earth, you can actually use any color you choose. It doesn't really matter, and Ralph won't be upset at you. I promise you. He'll say that's perfectly fine. Knock yourself out. And you can see they randomly just flash on and off, and that's going to be wonderful for my console. And so we're going to upgrade our console, obviously, with our Paragraphics photo etch set. Available also from Cult TV Man. We have that. And I have, just to stimulate the economy, 2 sets of the Chariot templates. Now you're going to say, Phil, Do I need 2 sets of Chariot templates? Well, the answer is no, you don't. But I like to stimulate the economy. And I also believe in supporting talented artists like the great Lou Del Maso, who makes these amazing masks. Now, you might say, but Phil, I want to just use masking tape. Hey, knock yourself out, but I promise you, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And without his masks, it makes it really, really difficult. Because the thing of it is we've got the sort of the star of the show here, I like to call it. This is your canopy top. And it's completely clear. Now, the idea is that the exterior frame is in metal, right? It's supposed to be metal. And so that will go towards our chromes or silvers. The interior of it is orange. And good luck trying to paint the interior of this. So what does the great Lou do? He provides you with permanent vinyl. I kid you not. If you didn't know that, he does. And here it is. And you can go ahead and use your permanent vinyl on the interior of your Chariot. And so you've got some prepping to do, and we'll talk about that as we go through, just to make sure that we get this all correct. But it's going to make your life a lot easier because trying to get in here and paint this is a real challenge. Now, you may be saying, but Phil, I painted mine. And I say, you're awesome. I don't want to, this has to be perfect. This Chariot has to be perfect, and I don't want any bleed. So I'm going to make sure I use these vinyl, these permanent pieces of vinyl that come with his masking kit, and I'm going to have crisp, perfect lines. So there you go. That's what I'm doing. You use whatever methods you prefer. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. So I've got my Aztec dummy masks, and I've also got my permanent orange vinyl for the interior of my canopy. I've got Paul's paragraphic set of photo etch to enhance all of the control surfaces, as well as grading for the exterior and for it's got a whole bunch of stuff. Well, why don't I pull it out and tell you instead of just trying to guess? Because that's what I love to do, right? So let me just pull this out carefully because it is a great set. Here it is, and it comes. He sends it on these little white boards, these little white cardboard boards, right? It keeps the packaging safe, but these boards are fantastic for using to put some tape on them and paint your small parts. So I collect mine. I've got a lot of them, but they're great. I use them all the time. Okay, so let's see what you can enhance, shall we? We've got some decals. If you want to use decals, which we may use for the radar screen and the dials, but not for the control surfaces. I don't think we're going to need them, but you know, you never know. So here it is. Here is the Chariot photo etch and decal set. Make sure you've got the right set. This is for the 1/24 scale, okay? Make sure you've got that because you have, I believe there is a 1/35 scale option out there if you've got the smaller Chariot. But you want to make sure you've got the correct set. So obviously triple check on your label. And I'm looking and there it says 1/24. So there's an awful lot of detail that you can add, and so I'm just very, very excited about it. Okay, let's continue to look at this. Our interior, we've got the dashboard. So we've got now, you know, I put decals over these before, and then you can backlight them, and that can work as well. But that's really cool. And then they've got something they call Uber detailing, which I really like. And it allows you to essentially add even more detail. And we'll get into that as we go along, but that's very, very, very cool. You've got the scanner base. You've got a control surface for that. You've got the scanner display, the scanner antenna, and you can continue to uber detail those, which we will do. And on the exterior, we've got Grille, which will replace the grille on the front of it. And we're going to be replacing that grille. That is very cool. And there's an uber detailing opportunity there as well, and we're going to be diving into that. And we've also got on the exterior, we've got the ability to actually uber detail the antenna. So we're going to be doing that as well. Full bells and whistles on this one. On the exterior for the luggage rack or the cargo rack, we've got a wonderful piece, and this I'm very excited about because this is super detailed. Right? Look, this is the mesh for the cargo for the cargo hold. So we're going to be doing that. We've got detail for the ladders, and we've got detail for door handles. So we're going to attempt to do those. Although, you know, in 74 they're a little tiny, but I think we've grown up enough now. We're adult enough where we should be able to tackle all of these things. And make genius perfection out of them. Now, what's interesting is, before I start cleaning up these parts, there was a time and a place where the first incarnation of this kit, there were some issues with the tracks melting and some other issues and some damage issues as well. But the later kits do not have that. You know, just double check to make sure you've got a later kit. If you're picking this up from eBay or you're picking this up aftermarket at a show or something like that, be careful. Ask to look at it, because that was a huge issue for the older kits. You don't want to end up with one of them. It's not to say you can't get replacement parts, because you can. Pegasus will send them out to you, Moebius Pegasus. But just double check that, because you don't want to be left with that. But later, the kits that are available now from your local hobby shop or from Colt TV Man, they're fine. They're fine. And Steve will be more than happy to answer any questions you have, but that was an old issue. Just wanted to bring it up because it was out there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with I believe we're going to start with masking our canopy. That's what we're going to start with, because that's sort of the elephant in the room, and then the interior, you know, will be relatively simple compared to that. But it's this canopy that needs a lot of attention for us right now. So we're going to start with that. Now, interestingly enough, there's also some curtains that are made of what is obviously a heat blocking silver material. We're going to try and replace our curtains with some silver material, or at least augment them. I don't know. We'll see what we can do when we get there, but that'll be another fun detail for us to look at, as well as the luggage in the luggage rack too. How are we going to handle that, just to make sure it looks really cool and detailed out. So there's lots of opportunity. Oh, and of course, don't forget, your B9 robot will come with this kit. Now, you can build it as a complete robot, or you can have him interior on his base, which is most likely the way we will present him. We will not present him with his legs. We will present him with his body, which sits on this plinth. But he does come with this kit, which is really cool. He's the only character who does. None of the others do. But I do have a handle on a set of the Robinson family. And I have reached out to the gentleman who can make these for me. So as soon as the holiday is over, hopefully, we will hear from him, and we will get a set of those wonderful sitting characters, so the Robinson family can occupy our chariot. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is clear the desk and get ready to work on our canopy. That is step one. Glad you're with me on this build. Let's dive in. So here is our canopy, and the first thing you'll notice when you pull it out of its protective plastic bag is that mine here has this little sprue, and it's how it came off the mold, right? Now, one of the things I've learned along the way is if you were to go ahead and use any kind of nippers to cut this, there is a very high chance you could shatter this, or you could cause a fracture crack to go through it. It's a problem. It happens with clear parts. So when you can, because it's incredibly brittle, I use a saw. And you know, this is something you can use for resin kits. It's got fat teeth and thin teeth. There's all kinds of different blades, but the lovely thing about it is you can just go ahead and just gently get in here, and you can start trimming away at your sprue part, just carefully, and you'll see what I mean here. Once you get into a groove, it will just come off like that. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to use anything where you come in here and you try to nip this, and the vibration of it will actually shatter your part. So you don't want to do that. So that's a really good tip. And the reason why I can present that to you is because I've done it. I've done it myself. We've all sort of come through the ranks, right, and learned the right way and the wrong way to handle things. And when I show you something, it's just the way I do things, or the way I'm learning to do things, or because I like to think that I'm learning every day. I talk about this all the time. But if I can show you something that's going to make your life a little easier, I'm happy to do it. Okay, so once you've got this cleaned up, we're going to start moving into putting our masks down. And the dummy over at Aztec Land has shown us exactly what the template looks like. He presents it to you in all of its glory, and here's those is. Here's your sheet. So follow along, read your instructions, because that's a very important thing to do, and you should be fine. Okay, I'm just going to clean up this last little tab here, and then we'll start masking. Obviously, it's clear there's no paint under it, and so you don't have any risk of peeling paint up, but you do have risk of getting paint under your masks. So you really want to take the time and go around and make sure that everything is down and nice and sealed, especially before you put paint down. But where I feel like I've got an edge that could be problematic, I'm pulling out my tape, my Tamiya tape, my good Tamiya tape, and I'm just running it along the edges just to make sure that extra sure to make sure that I'm not going to get any leakage, as they say. Production designers will tell you that compound curves can be their nemesis. So it's surprising to me how beautiful this chariot canopy is, because it has a lot of these compound curves. Now, Lou does give you these shapes to put around the corners, but I recommend some extra precaution with some Tamiya tape to go over those edges, just to make sure. The masks are going on very well, but it is a very time-consuming element. But you know what? It's the most important element, I think, to this build. So you want to get it right. So now that we've successfully masked the outside of our Chariot's canopy, we got to go ahead and tape off the inside, because you don't want any overspray. It's not good enough just to drop this down and spray it. You want to make sure your inside's protected. So I'm going to go ahead and mask that right now. I've gone ahead and painted all of the canopy and the doors, and I've used Extreme Metal, AK's Extreme Metal, and it's a lacquer-based paint. And the reason why I think that's important is because you'll get a harder finish on the plastic, and I think that's a good thing. So I'm very happy with that. We're going to let this all dry, and then that'll take care of the exterior frame. So that's a good job done. Well, we've removed all the masks from our canopy, and we got a fantastic result. And I've let this dry 24 hours to make sure that I have an absolutely solid paint surface. I use the Extreme Metals as we know. And so here's them's those is. And this is really, it's a nice canopy. Now, the next thing that has to happen to this canopy is we've got to flip it over, and all the inside, all the internal framework has to be orange. Now, we've got our vinyl for that, so we don't have to make an effort to paint it. And it is a relatively flat surface. This is not raised, this is flat. So it is going to make it a little easier to lay that down. Now, the one thing we've got to be careful of is we can't have our orange vinyl, our permanent vinyl, extending wider than what we have. So I have deliberately, in places, made my lines a little wider than perhaps they should be to accommodate that, but we're still going to have to probably do some trimmage. But that's something you need to be aware of. And then what Lou suggests is, after you've installed all of your permanent orange vinyl, that you go ahead and just seal that with a little bit of the Pledge floor cleaner. Now that is a sort of an acrylic based shell that you'd want to put on here, and it will kind of just seal everything in. What you do have to be careful of, though, is if you're going to spray the inside of this, that you've done it before and you know the qualities of this, because oftentimes if the Pledge cleaner has been around for a while, I found that it can cause some streaking, or it can cause some hardening in places where you don't get, a perfect dip. So you do have to be careful of that. And of course, if that happens to you, you can go ahead and use Windex. It's got ammonia in it. Put some on a very, very soft cloth, and you can go ahead and wipe that wherever that area is that's got the floor polish on it, and you'll be able to successfully remove it. The teeth aren't working. Successfully remove it from your canopy. But try to avoid that if you can. Okay. So I'm going to be doing that in just a few minutes, but I wanted to quickly talk about something I've been playing with, because sooner than later we're going to start working on the actual tub of the Chariot. And one of the things that there's a couple of things that I'm playing with, and I haven't quite figured out what to do with the luggage rack yet, but we'll burn that bridge when we come to it, as we like to say. But I wanted to quickly talk about this. It's not necessarily in the order it's going to be done, but it's something that has to be prepped, and there's quite a few of them, and that is these curtains. Now, these curtains are awfully thick. And yes, you could paint these. You can give them a nice shadow effect. You can, you can soften the corners, and you can do all of that. But if you actually look at the detail of the Chariot itself, and even the working replica that is out there, this is a material. This is a silver type material that is designed to, in essence, protect you from radiation and the heat of the sun. So these curtains don't exactly, they do a decent job, but they're not how they should be. So I've been playing with foil, not just my aluminum tape, duct tape, but just regular tin foil. And I've come up with something that I really think is terrific. Now, this is out of scale. And it is not perfect, but it was just a demonstration of what you can do. And I am going to go this way because I feel like first of all, it's a lot more delicate, and I think it's a lot more in keeping with scale. And it doesn't look like plastic. It's going to look quite convincing. And the way I did this is I just took a sheet, a little piece of aluminum foil. I've cut it into squares that are essentially the size and scale of the plastic curtain that comes with your kit. And then all I did was I concertinaed it up using a little ruler. And I'm going to take my foil and I'm going to use this sharp edge to do folds backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. And once I have it concertinaed, you'll end up with something like this. Now again, this was just my test. It's not perfect. We'll get it perfect. But I really like this. And then I've added this little tab here. And this tab comes courtesy of my metal duct tape. And I've added this tab, and I've made this tab long enough so that I have something to glue to the canopy, to attach to it with just a little bit of my Gorilla Glue, just a little touch of that gel, and that won't go anywhere. You could also use a little tab, but I think the gel will make sure that it stays in place. And what I wanted to show you is that when you bring over your canopy, and you lay it inside, you can see that you get this wonderful dynamic. I mean, it is really, I think it's a game changer in terms of the curtains on this model. So that's going to be a really nice upgrade for those curtains. So I have to go ahead and do that, and I've got quite a few to do. So that's going to be a chore in and of itself, but I think it's going to be the way to go. And then, of course, we do have luggage to talk about. There is a box of luggage that comes with the kit. I don't have it on the desk at the moment. But I think we can do better. So I'm looking for some way to punch that up and improve that. And we'll talk about that when we get a little closer. But I wanted to share my curtain solution with you because I'm going to be building those off camera. And then we'll go ahead and install those when it's time to do so. So starting to work on the inside of the canopy, and the Aztec Dummy masking set, as I've mentioned several times, provides this orange vinyl, which is a permanent fixture for this. It's not a mask. It allows you to create beautiful crisp lines inside your canopy. Now there are two sizes of strip that come with the pack. You get thin strips and you get thick strips. The thin strips are for the side panels, and the thicker strips are for your ceiling panels. And then of course we've got vinyl for the luggage rack, and we've also got vinyl for the side panel windows, doors, and I've already installed those, and they go on quite nicely. Now you are going to have to make sure everything is burnished down. I'm using a soft Q-tip just to go around and make sure everything is looking like it should, because since this is going to be permanent, and as I mentioned earlier, you can put a little bit of furniture polish, the Pledge Clear acrylic, over this just to seal it up. But I think if we do a good enough job burnishing it, we should be fine. Where you might run into a little trouble is on this side panel here. There is this nub, and this nub is actually has a purpose for the door hinge, so we cannot remove it or clean it up. But what we do have to do is make sure that the strip vinyl sits nicely around it. It just hugs it, and then you could go ahead and paint that orange if you want to, just to make that disappear. But this is going on quite well. It is time consuming, but it's very much worth it. And boy, am I grateful to Lou that he actually incorporated these into his masking set. It does make putting this together a lot more enjoyable. So I'm going to carry on putting my orange strips on, and there's an orange panel that belongs in the rear of the the canopy. This sits below where all the luggage racks are, and there are 3 holes in here. And so you go ahead and put your vinyl down, which I've done, and then you find your locator holes, and then you're going to just go ahead and you're going to just make a slice so that you can actually install your rack, as you can see there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And so now I'm just going to continue on around the base of the interior of this on the side walls, and get that all finished up. It's a slow process, but it's not a complicated process. You just have to be careful, and just take your time, and you'll be fine. And here you have it, with all of the orange framework from the Aztec dummy masking on the interior, the masked painted exterior. So we have a complete canopy. And the good news about that is we're done with the hardest, in my opinion, one of the hardest parts of this build, which is this canopy. Now, what I'm going to do, obviously, is I'm going to set it aside, but I'm going to clean the glass first with some Novus cleaner. And then from now on, I'm going to try and only handle it with some kind of gloves or something so I don't get oils from my fingers on it. But I feel like I did pretty good. Obviously, I protected my surface with cloths to make sure I got as minimal scratches as possible. You're going to get some hairlines, but I can get most of those to go away with my Novus. So I would say this is an absolute result. And I promise you, you're going to get a much better result with the Aztec Dummy masking set than if you were to tape it. Not that you couldn't, but I just think you will. I've cleaned up the bottom section, and I've just started looking at the geography of everything and the mechanics of it and what I have to deal with, because this kit's getting lit, and it's got headlights, and it's got its computer flashes, and the robot may have some blinkies going on as well. So there's a lot of wiring that has to come on here. That's why I'm going with Evans Design for everything except the computer panel. But I might go with the Evans Design lights, chip lights, SMDs, to go into that board, because they're smaller and they'll take up less space. The board itself is most likely going to have to go in the base, because there's not going to be any room anywhere else. But I still have to get wires. Essentially, I have to get wires through here and out the bottom here, I assume. And then when we tip it over, you can see we've got this sort of crankshaft, and it's hollow, so there's plenty of room to put cabling in here, and then have everything in here, and then run it out the back to something. There's nowhere else to do this, really. If you don't do that, you're going to see the power cable, and I don't want to do that. So the first thing I have to do is determine just exactly how this is going to sit on its base. So I've ordered a shadow box that I'm going to play with. It's quite a big box, but you know, this is worthy of a terrain that looks really cool, and maybe it'll be slightly tipped on an angle. I don't know. We'll have to see. But it definitely deserves some special attention. A couple of things to note here, and that is that when you go to actually put the interior in this, there's going to be these side panels, and then the seats just sit on these tops here. There's no floor plate for this, curiously. It doesn't come with one. At least that's what I'm seeing in these instructions. There's no floor plate. So these chairs, these bucket chairs, they're gonna sit on these little points here, and that's how they're going to go in. And then there'll be two in the front here that are in the driver's seat. So that's curious. We're going to have to see what we can do to make this floor look a little nicer. I don't know. I think maybe texture it or do something to it. I'm going to have to see. But the first thing we're going to do is that now that I've cleaned up my wheels, is we're going to get these painted. They're going to get painted in a chrome. So everything has to be painted in the black, and then we'll hit it with the chrome, and that'll take care of those. We've got our curtains we discussed that we're going to have to build, and we're going to also start with some photo etching. And the first piece of photo etch that I'm going to deal with is this piece right here in the front here. So this grid has to be removed, and it's going to be replaced with a piece of photo etch. So that's the first thing we'll do. I've used my ultrasonic cutting tool to cut through the panel here where the photo etch is going to go for this grill, and then I'm just slowly just cleaning that up with a brand new blade. You're going to dull your blade doing this, and you might even go through one or two depending on how thick your plastic is, but this is for me the cleanest way to do it. And you can't afford to have any gouging or anything happen to this this bead, this bead line that appears on the front here. So you just take your time and you clean it back. You just keep cleaning it back and cleaning it back until you're in the corners, and then you just take a file and sand that down. Now if you don't have a cutting tool, by all means go ahead and use a drill bit, you know, conventional drill bit. Just go ahead and drill all your holes and then just carve it back that way. They're both equally as successful. You'll get the same result, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And then when you've got it to where you're very happy with it, what I like to do is I like to go ahead and get some Tamiya quick setting extra thin, and I just rub it along the edges here. And what that will do is that will just remove any of the burrs that you might have, and it'll give you a really nice finish. And there's those is. So I'm going to go ahead and install this, and that will take care of photo etch piece numero uno. And here's the finished part installed. That's the part you'll see, and that's the ugly part in the back. As long as that tab is able to hug the inside walls, you get a really beautiful result. And I think it makes a huge difference when you can take some of this uber detailing and add it to your models. It really does. It brings them alive. And that's what we're trying to do. The nice thing about this chassis is this whole body underneath is one metal color, so that'll blend in beautifully. Okay, wanted to take a quick look at this with you. Excuse the noise in the background. My FDM printer is running. And, you know, as luck would have it, timing is timing. But I will try to speak a little louder so as to not get drowned out by it. So I apologize. Okay, Canopy is on, and we've got a test fit of the inside of the Chariot. Now, the purpose of all of this is to demonstrate the fact that you can clearly see the floor. So I need to do something about that floor. Now we can just go ahead and paint it, but if you look carefully you can see all kinds of wackadoodle stuff in there. For instance, the number 2 has been kindly printed in there in the center, so there's a little bit of cleanup to do. And now if I go ahead and remove the canopy and take that away, basically we can see what the issue is. It's this floor. So we can go ahead and just paint it, or find some way to put some kind of grid down on it. I don't know. We're going to think about it. But that's the next thing I have to tackle. I got to clean up some of these indentations, these depressions from where it was attached. To the sprues, you know, so and there's little sink marks and things like that, so it has to be cleaned up. We don't get anything for it. There's no photo etch for it, and there's no plate for it for the floor. So we are on our own, folks. We're going to have to figure it out. Just do see it, and I think it looks pretty ugly. So I'm going to go ahead now that I've got everything where it should be. And I'm going to work on that, because once I've got that clean and ready to go, I can start thinking about how I'm going to get all of my wiring in here. It's less space than you realize, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Skipping around just a tad, I'm working on the headlights. Now, I have gone to Evans Design nano chips, and I think it's a perfect scale for this model, and it's the way I'm going. Let me show you what I'm doing. Let's get you a little closer here. So here is the front of my my chariot, and this piece it simply attaches like this, and that's what you're looking at. So I've got to get these headlights working. So what I've done is I've been playing with it. There's a little tab that comes on the back of this a little nub, and the idea is you're supposed to push that knob into there after you've painted everything silver. Well, what I'm going to do is I am going to feed through one of these little SMD lights like this, and I'm going to put my headlight over it. Now, if I can get my fat fingers out the way, which is not easy to do, there, you can see basically I get really nice coverage, and that's going to work out really nicely. To add to that, I've got a little silver washer, and so what I intend to do is I intend to take the washer and I'm going to sit my lens on top of it, so you get this sort of lovely finish. And that is going to, in turn, lay on the front here, like this. And that gives you your headlight. Something like that. But that's a wonderful, I think it's a wonderful solution. It's a very, very, very elegant solution, I should say, because a 3mm would be just too big, in my opinion, too punchy for the scale of this, and even a 1.8 doesn't really make a lot of sense. But these Evans Design nano chips are just wonderful, and of course the wire is so lovely and thin. Look how thin this wire is. It's spectacularly thin, so it just helps in hiding everything. I've just got less to worry about. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've painted the exterior of my chariot here in the silver, metallic silver that I'm using. And I've started to sort of work out my lighting plan. Now, interestingly enough, and I'm sure this was because it was thought about, the control center, the sort of the centerpiece of this business at the front where your seats are, and I will show you that here. It has this opening in the front. Now that, I believe, is deliberate, so that we can run all of our wires from our headlights and our computers into here. It can then drop down underneath, and it can run along this cavity, and it can come out the center here. So clearly there was a little bit of thought that went into that. And for robot, if we want to get a little light in robot, same, we've got an opportunity to get some wires up into the center here. So that's good. And then the floor of the chariot is supposed to be in the orange, so I'm going to go ahead and get this painted out correctly before I start worrying about wiring. And so I just got to go ahead and take this off so I don't get any overspray, because that wouldn't be good. Turning my attention to the dashboard, I've got 3 pieces of photo etch that go on the top of the dashboard here. And then I've got a lower piece right here that I'm going to go ahead and also install. And then what I have to do is I have to figure out just exactly how I'm going to make all of these blink. They probably should be all they should all be fiber optic, I should say, so that we can get different colors. I've got the bulbs for it, so we'll just have to see how that goes. I have the room too, but it's a bit of a delicate procedure. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep chiseling away at this with my trusty number 17 chisel, and I'll just remove as much of the meat of it as I possibly can. So now that I've gone ahead and smoothed out the surface and removed all of the raised detail, I've marked the center of the top of the console so that I can put my photo etch down on it. But this allows me to actually remove all of this material so that I can get light through to the dash, and I'll do that on both sides. I wanted to call your attention to what is known as the antenna array. And I guess what this really is it's really the dashboard, and it's a part that sits between the pilot and the co-pilot in the front of the Chariot, and it has this sort of radar tube on the front of it. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to do a little uber detailing on it because I thought that would be fun. So here's the box that you get, and this part in front, and you can see what I've done because the front of it that comes with the kit is now on the inside. It's on the inside because I've reversed it. Well, why have you reversed it, Phil? Well, you've reversed it because I'm now going to uber detail it. And in order to do that, you need to create a flash surface for it. So there's this part that goes on like this. There's a frame, a detail frame that goes on that, like this. And then there is the front of this, which has the control surfaces on it, and that goes on like that. And then what doesn't come with it is a little piece of tubing. You're going to attach that to this center piece like that. And then after you've done that, there are two more pieces of photo etch that are here, and they are labeled as 4A and 4B on this set, and they're going to go in front and behind this tube. So I just have to make sure that tube is nice and flush, and that is the new front of our scanner. Now, we're not done there because this is hollow. Okay, here's the part, it's hollow. And so that means that you have an opportunity to light this, and I want to light this because I think you'll see it through the front windshield and it's going to be fun. So I'm going to have a red light which will flash and a solid green light in here. Here's the completed front. And there are holes drilled out for my fiber optics here. And this will get a decal in the back. The base that it sits on, I've added a couple of holes there. I'll put some colored gel filter, some clear in those just to add some color at the end. And then I'm going to paint these two pieces separately because this is kind of fun. If you want to play with this, you can actually just put this in and it'll slide this unit up and down. So these all get painted separately, but this is ready to go. So that is an uber detail, something you can do with the Paragraphic set. Very cool. I really appreciate it, and I also appreciate the fact that you can go either way. You can do nothing, you can do something cool, or you can really uber detail it, and I appreciate that. And I love Paul's attention to the detail, to get it as accurate as you can possibly get it. Looking really good. Now, one of the wonderful things about this particular kit is the rubber for the tires. I do like that. It's not plastic, and it's not something you have to put together and then there's some kind of a sieve. We all remember those. They're really kind of fun, and they make this look really nice, and it looks absolutely legit. Now we can put a little weathering on that, or dusting. We probably will when we go to close up. But one of the things, just a simple thing. Now I'm sure you all know this, but for some of you out there who don't, I'm just sharing. So behave. All you need to do is just warm these up a little bit. If you've got a heat gun or a hairdryer, just go ahead and heat these up, and then your wheels will pop on with no problem. Otherwise, you're going to be here a month of Sundays trying to push these on, and you won't be a happy camper. So that is good. The tracks themselves are also rubber, and they look really nice and crisp, nice and clean, and so they'll go on really well. I think this is going to go really nicely. Now you could dust these with a little bit of metal if you wanted to, just to sort of indicate that they've been chipped, or they've been used. So I might go ahead and actually weather these a little bit when I put them on. But they're a lot of fun. And then basically all you're doing is you're taking these black sort of cylinders that you were given, and you essentially are going to create a little assembly line, and we're going to go ahead and install everything. And that will take care of all of these tires. And then once you've got one side on, you slide them through, no problem. They'll just slide all the way through, and you can do the whole thing. We can put our wheels on. So that's a process. It's that'll take you an hour and a beer, but hey, it's all part of growing up and being a chariot builder. So I'm going to carry on and get these tires on. Well, obviously, as you can see, the little spaces that go between the wheels and the undercarriage are too small for the pipes. You got to just drill them out a little bit. And obviously, if you've got a slow speed drill, you're going to be better off. Otherwise, you're going to melt this plastic. But they're cleaning up pretty quickly. And that will take care of this undercarriage chassis. And the cogged wheels don't have rubber on them. They just they're a little higher up, and they're sort of they blend in. Their teeth are supposed to grab these the actual caterpillar belts. So there you go. Well, I'm going to continue building up my wheels for my chassis, and they're going together really well. And then the back wheels have cogs on them, and they'll just clip, or they connect to the backs of these caterpillar belts. Really nice, and looking really, really snazzy. I think we're going to end it there for this update. This will be part one of a two-part build. And don't forget, this is the largest scale, the 124. There is a 135, and you can get that from Cult TV Man. That's available too if you want a smaller scale. When we come back for part two, I'm going to be continuing on with my wiring. We'll get that all sorted and get everything fired up, and we'll start to build the interior of our Chariot. And start working towards the outside where we've got all the little details to put on. I've 3D printed myself some fresh luggage. We've got some curtains to build out of some foil because I like the scale of that. And then, of course, don't forget, we've got our base to contend with. This is going to be permanently installed on a base. And it's also going to, I'm going to use a wall wart with a 9-volt plug-in. Just going to make it a lot easier to move around and keep it fired up. So I really appreciate each and every one of you for joining me on this journey. I'm really enjoying myself. I mean, it's so great to be back in the sprue, and it's pretty awesome to be doing another Owen Allen build. Very, very cool. Hey, if you want to get a hold of me, I'm sprueverse@gmail.com, and I post most days in the weeds what's on the bench and what's going on in the Sprueverse studio on my Instagram account. That, of course, is @Sprueverse. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee for my charity bills, you can do that. That link is on my channel page, as well as, of course, a link to my merch, which I really appreciate people picking up the merch. 100% of all of those proceeds go directly to charity, so you'll be glad you picked yourself up a shirt. But hey, I look forward to seeing you in part two. As always, I wish all of you, please, be safe and be well. Build something, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Be well.